Hello again. Here we are at part 2 of how I made this collage painting out of alcohol ink backgrounds. I'm going to jump right into it. So here I have my pot and I want to gild it. I want more gold on it and I want little veins of gold running through it. So I'm decorating this pot and I want to use the deco foil to press onto this, and you can do this method pressing it onto halfway wet alcohol ink, like where the edges stay wet, but obviously I can't do that because my piece is dry. So I'm using this Tombow glue pen and I'm hoping that it works, although it didn't work very well. So I just showed you putting on the glue there, but here I'm fixing up a little part that didn't have any ink on it, so I put a little bit of green alcohol ink on the edge there, and I'm just melding it into the piece with some texture with my new dollar store alcohol ink marker. So that sure came in handy. You can see those in a recent haul video that I just posted. And I'm just putting on some texture here with this alcohol marker. So just a note about this painting, it was not easy. It may look easy, I'm not sure how it looks to other people, but it took a lot of time and planning and a lot of little fiddly parts and stuff, and things like this where I wanted it to work but it just didn't work. See, I'm peeling, see what happened there? It's just peeled the glue dot right off. So that was a little frustrating. I just kept doing it over and over, and I wasn't being too delicate with it. I was just chucking the gold on there. Here I'm making the little squiggly lines that I want it to look like, and some of the deco foil came off on it, but other times it just ripped the glue off, which was super annoying. But eventually I figured it out. I chucked some other types. I used like 4 different types of gold on this. Okay, here we are coming in with Plan B. This is not real gold, it's the faux gold that I've shown in other videos of mine. Faux gold leaf. And I'm trying to do it with sticky, gluey fingers. That's fun. But, of course, I did not have the patience to wait till the glue was fully dried. So, some of it smeared and whatever. You know, I don't know about this. I just chucked it on there. I really was not careful about it. I don't know why. I was just in a little bit of a rush, or I just knew that even if the gold got everywhere, I didn't mind. But it ended up working. It just smeared a little bit on the top right. But if that happens to you, then don't worry about it, because it still looked great in the end. So right here you see I'm using this stiff sort of, it's a watercolor brush, but it's a synthetic brush and it's sort of stiff. So I'm using that to sort of scrape around the edges of the gold leaf so it gets off the part where the glue is not. And I just keep sticking on that gold until it won't take any more gold. Okay, we're back here with my mahogany wood background, and I'm showing a little bit of cutting up the strips, but you would have, if you've seen part 1 of this video series, you would have seen I already did that, but I just showed a little bit here, and I'm just showing how I'm placing it on the wood canvas. And how I used washi tape to stick those little parts together to keep them in the way they're supposed to look. So here I'm using Liquitex gloss medium to glue these on, and this is the finicky, messy part that I don't really like it. You see how the alcohol ink is the Liquitex medium is getting on the back and taking a little bit of the ink off, and I'm like, oh no, I might screw up these pieces. But it doesn't. It pretty much stays on there. But if you get some of the Liquitex on the front, it does go a little bit matte. Like the alcohol inks are shiny. And but it's okay, because I think when I seal this whole piece, I'm going to either do it all matte or all shiny anyway. So I didn't really mind about that. But I'm just putting some on the back of the strip and then some on the wood canvas. And also what I'm doing here, you can't really see at the bottom there, but I'm tilting them just a little bit because I want them to look a little quirky, a little off kilter, because they're collage pieces, right? It's not supposed to look perfect or anything. At least I don't want it to. So all I'm doing is wiping off the excess acrylic medium that sort of squishes out the side. And it seems to be okay. It doesn't rub off the alcohol ink or anything. By the way, that the alcohol ink backgrounds are on the back of Kirkland photo paper. It's not Yubo. So yeah, see, I'm wiping right across there with the paper towel. It doesn't wipe off the ink. It wipes off a little bit, but it doesn't mess up the design. So just, I'm showing you there, I'm taking off my pieces to the side and putting the glue on, and then all you'll see here is me placing them on the wood canvas. Sorry you can't see the whole thing, but it's just this setup. It won't get the whole thing in frame. It was hard enough to film this whole thing, so I hope you can appreciate all the long time it takes to film this whole thing. It's a lot of video. So I am really glad that just when a little bit of that acrylic medium gets on the front, that it doesn't wipe off the ink, because that would have been a disaster. I also tried using like a spray adhesive, but for some reason I really didn't like that. I don't know if my pieces were too small or whatever, but I ended up sticking with the acrylic medium for most of it, and I'm brushing it on with like a small foam brush. You can see there how I have my pieces stuck in place with that washi tape. And then I just peel them off one or two elements at a time. See, I just got all that greenery pasted down. I figured you didn't need to watch the whole thing. I've edited all this out so that all the waiting times are gone, and I'm just placing the piece down. This video is deceptively short given the amount of time this project took. Eventually I got out my little tweezers, because your fingers end up feeling like pork chops when you're doing this kind of work. So I got my little tweezers out, and I'm just dipping it in the medium on a paper plate off to the side, and then pushing it down and then dabbing it with a paper towel basically, or toilet paper or whatever. But having that lotus flower and the pieces all in order on the washi tape was a huge help. So I'm really glad that I did that. I'm glad I had the foresight before attempting to figure out where all the pieces went. I could have laid them out to the side, but then you have to carry that whole thing around and make sure it doesn't fly off and stuff. So here I'm just taking a Pitt pen, and it's the brush one, a black brush Pitt pen. And I decided, hey, maybe I'll just make a little shadow here. So I just drew it on, and then I just dabbed around the edges, and luckily it doesn't dry right away, and it just gave a nice like feathering effect around the edge. Alright, so I have some other elements here which you didn't see me cut out, but all I did was in the sort of scraps, I didn't want to waste them, so I just cut out some more stock flowers in the Scan and Cut machine. Those are just stock flowers, and a few leaves, and I just cut out some freehand just out of my mind, you know, just cutting the little shapes, and the stems as well. That's what you're seeing here. So the basic design that I had, you know, I liked it, but it was really cool to be able to fill out some of the negative space areas here with just some more little elements like this, a few more curls and stems and a couple of flowers like that one off to the side. It just creates a little more interest to the whole piece. And I'm just using my design skills to make it balanced. Another cool thing is, see these little round dot things? Those are the centers of those flowers at the top left there. So I'm just using those as little buds, and the center of those round flowers, I just cut them out to make them a little smaller, and I pasted them in the center. So here you're seeing me make some design decisions, like should I place that extra leaf here, you know, like a pop of blue in the middle of that vase, and also trying to decide whether I wanted to extend stems up to the top left flowers, because as you can see, there's no stems that go up there. They're kind of floating in midair. But because these are stylized flowers, I don't think it matters. Nobody's going to think about that. And I couldn't figure out any way to get stems up there that looked good, so I just left them. Plus they're kind of on a stem on that top thing that goes around. And then these I don't know why, I just stuck them in these little spaces there. It kind of implies falling little buds or little petals kind of thing, but it's not, it's very abstract. So here I'm going in with another gold pen to kind of clean up that, because that glue just got everywhere. I smeared it everywhere, and in the end it really doesn't matter. So here, in my opinion, is the best part, the most fun part for me. This is where I go in and just embellish and do little dots and little stamens, implied stamens and centers, and just embellish the whole thing. So I did that with a white gel pen, which is white pigment ink, in the centers of the flowers. And I also did gold and black in the center of the flowers. And I used the white pen to decorate the little buds here in white. I also put white dots on the leaves, and I also did gold dots on the leaves. And in the end, I used gold on the flowers to sort of embellish them and give them a little bit of bling too. It's funny, I tried a few of my black pens, like I have black pit pens and microns, and one of the only ones that really would work on this alcohol ink background was a Sharpie. So I started out with a black Sharpie before I went in with the gold and the white on the center of these flowers. Here I'm using my gold Jelly Roll pen, and that works really well. And I think I put a little bit of white also in the center of these, but at the very end I go in with my gold solvent and put a big gold dot in the center of these too. Here I'm using one of my inexpensive Sargent Jelly Roll, like a sparkly Jelly Roll pigment pen, to sort of emphasize some of the green in the center of that stem, just so that you could see it better. And then I'm going in here with, what is that? I think that's a Pitt pen, and I'm just emphasizing these little sort of drop bud kind of flowers with the black pen, just to make them stand out a little more there. Here I used a gold Jelly Roll pen, and I put gold dots and white dots all over most of the leaves. Okay, here I have out my hardcore liquid gold. This is like a solvent based gold, and I'm wary of when I use it, because if you use it with a brush, you have to use it'll ruin your brush, and you have to clean it with solvent. You can't just clean it with water, so it's kind of a pain in the butt that way. However, it's a really nice gold payoff. As you can see, they're just like shiny buttons of almost, they look like real gold leaf, but in a liquid form. So I'm just using the end of my paintbrush so that I don't have to go through that whole thing of cleaning a brush with solvent. And because I'm just using dots, that I could just, I can just dot the stuff on. Oopsie, see that? Another one of those messy errors that didn't even matter in the end. You can't even see it. But here I'm just creating those dots with that solvent. And I love those what look like raised gilding gold dots so much that I brought them into the lotus flower in the center, just to keep it looking, have some continuity through the whole painting. So here I am putting those larger gold dots in the center of the flowers like I talked about before. And I'm finally here at the end signing my name. I already signed it in that gold gel pen, but it wasn't, I don't know, it was just too flat. So I used the solvent based, and I had that teeny tiny brush, but it still would not, it just went all fat like that, which annoyed me, but whatever, it looks fine. So I'll mention this now. I'm not sure how to seal this piece. I'll have to research it, but there's alcohol ink and gilding and gold, and it's on wood. So I've never done that before, sealed a piece like that. So if you have any suggestions, please leave it in the comments section below. I know I'm going to have to spray it with a UV light protectant, and then I might have to do another layer of Camar varnish on there. I was thinking of doing it with epoxy resin. I just don't know And I already have Liquitex, you know, varnish mediums and triple thick, and I have some of that. So I'm not sure exactly what to do. So if you know, please leave it in the comment section below. Here's the final piece, and I have some Instagram pictures here. It's really beautiful in low light. It just sparkles. I love it. So drop me a like, subscribe if you care to, and thanks so much for watching. Have a great day, everyone.